Terminator Genisys is the new addition to the Terminator franchise, this time directed by Alan Taylor, who made Thor: The Dark World. Now, with this movie, Kyle Reese is sent back in time to protect Sarah Connor because a Terminator was sent back to kill her, yada yada yada, you already know the story. Except the timeline has been altered, and now the time Kyle Reese has been sent back to is different. Sarah Connor is already awesome because Arnold was sent back to protect her as a child. And now the timeline's all out of whack and stuff, so... Now, if you've been paying attention on my channel, you notice that I have been reviewing all of the Terminator movies in preparation for Terminator Genisys. I liked 1, loved 2, 3, and 4 was terrible. Now, for Terminator Genisys, Rotten Tomatoes has been going up and down with it, but it's never been fresh. It's always been in the rotten zone. So I was hoping that this movie would actually be good. It would be like a Ted 2 situation where people didn't like it, but I would. Unfortunately, Terminator Genisys is a whole bunch of meh. But let's get the positives out of the way. First of all, Arnold is great as the Terminator. As you know, he was born to play this role, and he brings it once again. He may be old, but he's not obsolete. That's a line from the movie, actually. Okay. Emilia Clarke as Sarah Connor, I don't think she's as good as Linda Hamilton was, but she actually did a good job as Sarah Connor. Jason Clarke as John Connor, or the new Terminator. If you've seen the trailers, which almost everyone has, yeah, they turned John Connor into Terminator, which would have been really cool if they had not shown that in the trailer whatsoever, but they did anyway, so... But Jason Clarke was actually pretty good in the movie. And J.K. Simmons was also good in this movie. But I'll get back to his character later. And Byung-Hun Lee as the T-1000, he didn't say anything that much. He had like maybe 2 lines, and his screen time was about like in the 5 to 10 minute range, but he actually was a good presence for what he had to do. It's not major. The trailers make it look like it's major, but it's not that major, but he's good for what he needs to do. The action in this movie is actually very entertaining. When the movie has action going, I'm glued to the screen, but there's something about the action that I'll get to in a bit. Now, this is where we're going to start shifting into the cons a bit. The CGI. Okay, there are some parts where the CGI actually looks good. Like the CGI for the John Connor Terminator, for the most part, that actually looked really good. But then you get shots of the T-1000 in like liquid metal form, and it looks really bad. At least not as good as the one MT2, because as I mentioned in my Jurassic World review, the CGI is never going to be as good as the revolutionary Jurassic Park. We've already settled that. And I thought the CGI in Jurassic World was fine. But in the CGI here, it shifts from fine to just lazy. There is a fight earlier in the movie that's been marketed in the trailers between old Arnold and young Arnold, and that could be really cool. But the thing is, you can't get young Arnold anymore because Arnold's old now. So how are they going to do it? They use CGI, and whenever he walks up into frame, it is the most obvious CGI in the movie. Young Arnold is the worst CGI in this whole movie. Sorry to say, but it's true. And the action in this movie, as I mentioned, I was entertained while watching it, but it doesn't feel new or fresh. It feels like I've seen this before, and I guarantee you, tomorrow, I'm going to completely forget about the action scenes in Terminator Genisys. I'm going to be like, oh yeah, that action scene. Oh, that's right, I remember that. Alright, back to what I was doing. I'm just going to completely forget about it. There's nothing new or fresh with it. Entertaining, yeah, but like in the next couple hours right now, I'm probably going to remember T2 more. And J.K. Simmons' character, okay, he's a good actor. He won the Oscar for Whiplash. Double thumbs up to that. But in this movie, he's good in this movie. But if you told me that J.K. Simmons was going to be in a Terminator movie, I'm already there. Like, it's a Terminator movie, so I'm going to be there anyways. But with J.K. Simmons, I'm like already there. I'm camping out for the next year or so. But his character in this movie could have been cut out, and I would not have noticed, probably. His character could have been anybody. Anybody at all. his character is so unimportant. He helps the main characters out later, but that doesn't flesh out his character at all. He's just helping. Anyone could have helped them at all. Why is he so important? Why do he have to be in this movie? I don't know. And Jai Courtney, you are not Kyle Reese. You are a bland action star. In Jack Reacher, you are passable, but then there's A Good Day to Die Hard and the Divergent movies, and you are just terrible. I do not see Kyle Reese in you. Looking back in Terminator Salvation, I'm sorry, Anton Yelchin. I did not know that somebody could be worse at playing Kyle Reese. In fact, you weren't even that bad. I'm so sorry. And let's talk about the timeline now. It's screwed up. Like, they try to write in some new stuff, but they create so many plot holes in the process. Now, if this movie was like X-Men Days of Future Past, where they got rid of some bad things, that would have been cool, but they completely get rid of the first two great Terminator movies. So now, we just have this mess with so many plot holes, and I'm still confused thinking about it. Like, why can some things happen now if they just did this thing? I'm so confuzzled. And that's the biggest problem with this movie. I can kind of ignore some bland characters. I can kind of ignore Jai Courtney as Kyle Reese. Like, all the problems I just mentioned, I'd probably give it like a B- or something. But the plot of this movie is too messed up. It is so messy. Oh, and the humor is not that good either. So guys, Arnold Schwarzenegger is great in this role. He was born to play it. I felt more care for his character. Emilia Clarke is good as Sarah Connor, and so is Jason Clarke as John Connor, and J.K. Simmons is good, but his character was not needed. The action is good, but I'll forget about it soon enough. Jai Courtney was not good as Kyle Reese, and he was bland. The CGI is very on and off. The humor's not that good, and the timeline, not only is it out of whack, but there are so many plot holes now that but I don't hate this movie. That's the thing, is that I don't hate this movie. And it is better than Terminator Salvation. But it is not a good movie. It is just very, very meh. They had a lot of good ideas. The way they executed them did not work. So I'm going to have to give Terminator Genisys a C. I'm sorry to anyone that was actually looking forward to this movie, but this movie's a mess. But if you have seen Terminator Genisys, leave in the comments below what you thought of it. And I'm about to hit 500 subscribers, which is amazing. So please leave in the comments below of what you think I should do for a 500 subscriber video. And I'll make that video soon enough. Yay. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.